Beijing, China's capital and its cultural nerve center, a modern metropolis with traditional roots. And now it becomes the first city in the world to host both Summer and Winter Olympics. After 14 years, the biggest sporting extravaganza returns to Beijing. Thousands of athletes from around the globe will compete in over 100 events at 3 zones. Cheered on by over 1.4 billion Chinese citizens and millions abroad. CGTN will bring you a ringside view of the historic event. 2022 Beijing Olympics, the games that matter, on CGTN. See the difference.
Hello, welcome to this live stream. We're now at a studio on board a high-speed train traveling between Zhangjiakou and Beijing. And this studio is supported by China Academy of Railway Sciences and China Railway Gencent Technology Company.
Yes, I'm Crystal.
Hi, I'm Fei.
And it's so exciting to be on board this high-speed railway train.
Especially.
And talking about the Chinese elements we have spotted during the Winter Olympics. And also we're going to take you to learn some Chinese about the Winter Olympics.
Yes, and before we go, let's have a little review of yesterday's games.
The 17-year-old Su Yiming grabbed the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics snowboard gold medal at the Shougang Industrial Park, and it was the first ever gold medal in the snowboarding event for China. And also, it's also Su Yiming's first Olympic Games.
Yes, it is. And also we have Goyin have the silver medal after she lost to another component. And also we have more medals over the alpine skiing, biathlon, Nordic combines and speed skating. And yesterday night we have the qualies for figure skating women's singles. And at the same time, ice hockey has finished its 9th sessions for women and qualies playoffs for men. Curling has also started their 10th sessions last night. And the Winter Olympics is in China this year is quite special considering it overlaps with 2 of the most important festivals in China, the Chinese New Year or the Spring Festival or the Lantern Festival.
Which was yesterday.
Yes, and for the Chinese New Year, you want to say Happy New Year as greetings to your friends and other people, but how to say it in English? In Chinese, sorry. We prepared a small clip for you with CGTN's reporter Li Zhao speaking with world champion figure skater Anna Shbakova from the ROC, who also competed last night and have very good results. She also spoke with the Swiss Jan Scherer, the bronze medalist in men's snowboarding halfpipe this year, and to learn about how to say thank you for your support. Let's have a look.
So the time when you come to Beijing is actually during China's Spring Festival. Can you just follow me and say Happy Spring Festival to all of your Chinese fans? 新春快乐
新春快乐。
谢谢你们的爱和支持。
支持呀。
支持 This is the hardest word that I just couldn't say. And then on the end was wait, let me just remember. 我爱中国也爱你们。
Yeah, I love China. I love you guys.
And we love you too. So can you take a guess what he's speaking?
I think the first one to say Happy New Year or Happy Spring Festival, you can say 新春快乐. And for thank you for your support, 谢谢你们的爱护和支持. Yes.
So we've already learned that some athletes coming from other countries, they learn some Chinese. It's very good.
Yeah, it is to to expand our Chinese learning sphere. And more importantly, during this Winter Olympics, we not only have Chinese learning experience and Winter Games, but also technology become one of the trending topics during the Beijing 2022.
Not to mention the high-speed railway we've already worked on.
Yes, this with 5G coverage, which is, I think, maybe the first in the world. And that's also why we are able to give you this live stream smoothly on a moving fast train.
In a ultra high definition.
Yes, and speaking of more technology elements, we're also seeing a lot of athletes
Talking
sharing
about their
experience within the Olympic Village to sleep on the smart beds that have like different modes and seems like super fun and futuristic.
I've watched this small clip the athletes posted on her Weibo or new media account.
Yeah, and they have slept on a feature, the smart beds actually features some memory foam mattresses, and the best part is come with a remote control so that the users can change into different sleeping conditions. For example, they have this zero gravity mode.
I was wondering, what does zero G mode mean?
Okay, so maybe on the videos you can see how the beds change into different curves that fits perfectly with a human body, but most importantly, the zero G mode is able to relieve a lot of pressures on your muscles and your bones, and also to somehow keep a recumbent position, which is more relaxing compared to other positions. And more importantly, the bed can collect some of the major data on the body's signature, for example, your heart rates, your breathing, and
sleeping time.
Yeah, sleeping time, and so that they can send a health report to the coaches, and they can have an idea how the athletes is doing physically.
That's very important for the athletes to take care of their weight during the games and during their practices.
Yes, and especially for winter sports, a lot of them are really dangerous and challenging. And so we have more technological aspects during these games and also Chinese elements. So we have our reporter,
Victoria Goyin, and she's inside the closed loop, and we're going to share with her some experiences and her observations about the high-tech or Chinese elements part. Hi, Goyin. Hi.
Hello, ladies. Good morning.
You're very beautiful today, dressed in red colored clothes. And that is a very lucky color in Chinese culture.
Yes.
Where are you right now?
It's actually I'm at a studio at the International Broadcast Center, which is part of the main media center, and it's also the headquarters of broadcasters, reporters, and media outlets from across the world. You can take a look at this.
Oh, it's a grand office.
So see how comfortable you are at the moment.
So yesterday was
warm and comfortable.
Yesterday was the Lantern Festival. Did you have some sticky rice balls?
Yes, we did. The canteen at the first floor of this broadcast center offered us some this sticky rice balls for free last night, and which I had some this kind of yuanxiao or tangyuan, which are quite untraditional ones, and they are stuffed with cheese rather than like the Euro ones we had before.
Yeah, and we've also learned that food has become a very trendy topic among the foreign athletes, and they've also shared their experiences on their Weibo account or new media platforms. And what are your observations? Can you talk about their...
the food has been the trendy. Yes, food, snacks have been the trendy topic these days. The other day when a snowboarder from Malta put out some snack out of her pocket the other day, and that moment was captured by photographers and cameramen, and that which gone viral on the internet. Everybody was kind of asking what she was eating, and that proved to be jiaozi or dumplings, which is also one of the most popular Chinese food among the foreign athletes in the Olympic Village.
Jiaozi.
Dumplings. That's a very important word in China.
What about, I heard Guilin her favorite yesterday. She ate
包子.
包子, yes.
Another type
After
of
her
sort
medal
of dumpling.
ceremony.
Yes, yes.
And also she talked
Vegetables
about
and meat. Yeah.
And-
Vegetables and meat wrapped up in a piece of dough. I can't even. That food actually is very popular, especially in northern China.
what about 麻辣烫? I heard the hot pot like 麻辣烫 is also popular.
Yes, actually, I had some yesterday, and this kind of food is like a lot of vegetables and meatballs, or they are put in the boiling water, and we have some malatang or mini hot pot that was provided by some robots, that was prepared by robots.
Good.
Actually, we have a smart restaurant here where the food, not only malatang, but also jiaozi, dumplings, noodles are prepared by robots.
I wish I could have one of the robots too.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
one of a lifetime experience, to have robots serving
Yes,
for you.
it's so surreal. Like, it's like you're living in a sci-fi movie. You saw the robots preparing food for you, and some of the dishes are delivered from the ceiling, which is looks so surreal for me. It's like in the sci-fi movie.
That's also one of the high-tech part of the Winter Olympic Games.
Yes, it is. And also, I
Yes,
think
and it's part.
Sorry, I must be interrupting you. You can continue.
And it's also one of the most important measures to minimize person-to-person contacts under such circumstances.
Yes. And I think another very trending topic is the robots. It's not only helping in the restaurants, but also in other parts of the games at the media center as well.
Yes, actually, at the entrance of the media center, and at the entrance of each competition venue, there is an automatic sanitizing machine. It will remind you every time when you walk past them. Every time when you walk past it, it will remind you to disinfect your hands, and it will spray some disinfectants automatically. I think it's very interesting. It's like someone is talking to you all the time.
It's also very important considering the time of the age. During the pandemic, disinfection is never too much.
Yeah.
And I think we are going to wrap up this calling. And
thank you.
And also, what's your plan for today after this?
After this, I think I will join other people's queuing for my favorite mascot, Bing Dun Dun.
Oh.
This puppy panda is incredibly cute, and everybody loves him.
We wish you good luck.
Everybody loves it.
Good luck
Thank
getting
you.
one. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Obviously, I think food now at the Olympic Village have become a trendy topic for athletes from all countries, and they've won their hearts.
Yeah. But
as
there's
a-
another one that's also trending among them. I think the mascots, as Goyin just said, everyone wants a Bing Dun Dun. And it's also a very important Chinese word for us to teach today.
I've prepared it in Chinese calligraphy characters. So, here we can see the Chinese pinyin, and this is the Chinese calligraphy characters in simplified form, and this is how we pronounce it usually in English. Bing Duan Duan. That's different from how we pronounce it as a native Chinese speaker.
Yes.
Right?
In Chinese, it will be called Bing Dun Dun. A little
Again?
different. Bing Dun Dun.
Yes. Bing Duan Duan. So, Bing is for ice. Ice is for Bing. And then Dun, that means a astute, healthy child. We use this word to describe a child.
Yeah, and a
who is
very
healthy,
robust
astute,
child.
adorable.
Yeah.
Which means the next generation of the Olympic winners.
Yes, they are. And also, Dun. Why do we call the mascot Dun, it actually, because the inspiration of the mascot is actually from tanghulu, a very favorite Chinese winter snacks. You have the hawthorn berries covered with sugar coating, and that's why also the Bingdun wears an ice suit, which some people think is a space suit. That means a future of infinite possibilities. But actually, the Dun comes from a Tianjin dialect, which they call tanghulu, Bing Tang Dun, and
I think it's a bit hard for people to pronounce.
Yes. The designer originally wanted to name the mascot Bing Dun, but I think the Dun sound would be very difficult to pronounce for many people, not only in China but worldwide. So that's why we use two Duns, which is more cuter in this way.
And this is the ambassador for the Winter Olympics. And we have to mention another mascot for the coming Paralympics.
Yes, it's not her stage at the moment, but this is also another very important mascot for the Paralympics that's going to kick off in March, which is Xue Rongrong. And in Chinese, it's called Xue Rongrong. Surprisingly, they pronounce the same, but they are in a different writing in Chinese calligraphy. The Rong here in the middle stands for tolerance, and the Rong at the last stands for harmony. So you can tell, and the Xue means snow. During snow and ice games, we want tolerance and harmony.
That's also the spirit of the Winter Olympic Games,
or
the Olympic Games, getting stronger, faster, higher, and be united.
And together. And so the design, the inspiration of the design of Xue Rongrong actually comes from this centerpiece here, the red lantern, which also is a very important symbol for the Lantern Festival, which falls on yesterday. And so Xue Rongrong, if you have seen the mascot of Xue Rongrong, you can see how its head is basically the shape of this red lantern.
Yes,
and
Xue
they have
Rongrong
like
is
snow
actually
caps on top.
in the image of a lantern child.
Yes.
Who is very adorable too.
Adorable and cute. And also red is a very important color in China. I think maybe most Chinese festivals will need to have some red elements in it because we want it to mean auspiciousness, which brings us to the third word today.
And this means 吉祥 in Chinese, but it means auspicious and good luck in English. So it has, basically it has doubled the good meanings.
Yes, and also for mascot, we call it 吉祥物. Wu means object, and 吉祥 is here meaning auspicious.
Good luck.
Yes, and good luck. So speaking of the mascots, we also have like special designs during this Winter Olympics for exclusively for the medalist. You can see from the victory ceremonies that the medalist can get a special designed Bingdun covered with a wreath of woven pine, bamboo, and plum, which are also a Chinese phrase called three friends of the cold.
岁寒山三友.
Yeah, the pine means the pine trees, the bamboo, of course, and the plum means the plum flowers during winters. And they express tenacity, vigorous vitality, and also praise and respects and good wishes to the gold medalist, to the medalists.
Besides the mascots, I've also discovered that at the awarding ceremonies, the velvet bouquet for the athletes, they are also one of the Chinese elements.
Yes, this year during the victory ceremonies, the bouquet are actually quite different from the previous games because they are not fresh flowers.
Yes.
Instead, they are sort of handmade cashmere flowers.
Made of wool.
Made of wool and handmade by a lot of grandmas in eastern China. It actually is made by an intangible cultural heritage technique called 海派绒线编织技术. 海派 means a school
Coming
of
from
arts coming from
overseas.
eastern China, meaning Shanghai, Jiangsu, and Zhejiang, the eastern coastal areas. And 绒线 means wool, 编织 woven techniques.
Knitting. I think for my mother's generation, she's still good at knitting, but for me, I can't do it
Yes,
right now.
I think we can started to pick up the woven.
But it's very good, and it's environmentally friendly to have these bouquets.
Yes, because China promised to stage a green and sustainable green Olympic Games, and that's why we think these handmade woolen flowers is better than fresh flowers, and they never wither. After time. You can keep it as a souvenir basically forever.
It's a very important step for us Chinese to keep our promise to reach carbon neutrality. Yes.
And also, speaking of the flowers, they designed like different flowers where you can see the roses, the Chinese roses, the lilies, and olives. And more importantly, there's a yellow, smaller flower called osmanthus, Guihua, which is very, very important for a lot of Chinese people, especially in the southern part. The osmanthus is the city flowers for over 20 cities in China, and it also stands for auspiciousness and friendship.
Yes, mainly there are 7 or 6 kinds of flowers in this bouquet.
Yes, in this bouquet. And this is only one of the small cultural elements I think you may have missed during the games, because the victory ceremony is normally held different times from the games. But for more of a lot of cultural elements that's seen during the games, we bring you another reporter today, Yang Guang, who is in the closed loop on the ground, been to a lot of the game venues and been speaking to a lot of athletes, so he can bring us more of the cultural elements today at the Olympic Games. Hello, Yang Guang.
Hello there.
Hello. Where are you at the moment?
I'm outside the main media center.
It's very cold there, right?
Around the Olympic Tower, as you can see, and it's a bit cold, I have to admit. But the sun is about right, so it's a lovely weather today in Beijing.
So we were speaking about the cultural elements during this Winter Olympic Games. I'm wondering, have you seen any of these elements, and what impressed you the most?
Yes, I've noticed some Chinese cultural elements on the sports field of Beijing 2022, and the first thing that came up in my mind is the sportswear of Chinese athletes. I have to say there's a lot of patterns of Chinese cultural elements on the sportswear of Chinese athletes, and the most popular choice, I would say, would be the golden dragons. You can find it on the back of Gu Ailin's clothes, which is designed by herself. And also you can find it on the suits of Chinese short track speed skaters, and also the women's ice hockey goalie. Her sports gear also has this pattern. And meantime, talking about Gu Ailin, her clothes actually has some extra Chinese cultural elements with the pattern of Xiangyun or lucky cloud. And on the helmets of Chinese short track speed skaters are the patterns of Sun Wukong, or Monkey King of the ancient Chinese novel Journey to the West, very cool. And besides the Chinese athletes, actually yesterday I went to the Big Air event, and I noticed that the legendary snowboarder Mark McMorris, his snowboard actually has some patterns of panda. He loves the animal, and it's the Winter Games in China, so he chose to paint some panda on his snowboard. Very cute.
How cute!
And in addition, and in addition to the sportswear and the patterns, actually Chinese music also appeared in the Olympic stage. Chinese two-time Winter Olympian Jin Boyang, he actually competed in men's figure skating, and he skated to the soundtrack of Chinese movie Crouching Tiger and Hidden Dragon in his short program section. And also in figure skating, Chinese Wang Xinyu and Liu Xingyue, their outfits are classic green and blue, which resemble the traditional Chinese shanshui painting. Very beautiful. So that's those basically are the Chinese cultural elements I've noticed on the sports field of Beijing 2022.
Okay, so with the sportswear, I think the athletes are trying to make a statement of themselves, of their own personalities, and also for their teams and for the country that they're representing. But on a grander view here, I think you've also been to a lot of game venues. I'm wondering, do you notice any of the culture elements being designed into the venues as well?
Yes, basically I'm based in the Beijing competition zone, so I'm covering most of the skating events. And I have to say, the National Speed Skating Oval is a fantastic sports venue. It was a newly built venue for Beijing 2022, and its nickname is Ice Ribbon because of the facade that is designed with the shape of 22 silk ribbons. Very beautiful and classic. And if you go to the Yanqing competition zone, you will notice this grand national sliding center, which was designed for the sports of bobsleigh, luge, and the skeleton. And the whole venue actually has 16 curves, including a 360-degree loop section. So if you look at the venue from above, then you will notice it's like a winding Chinese dragon. So it gets the nickname of Flying Snow Dragon, very cool name. And if you go to the Zhangjiakou competition zone, you will notice the Great Wall set up besides the slope-style course. And of course, you cannot miss the Snow Ruyi, or the National Ski Jumping Center, which resembles the shape of Ruyi, a traditional Chinese decor, which carries the meaning of good luck and good fortune. So that's basically what I've noticed from the architecture aspect of Beijing Games in terms of Chinese cultural elements.
I think I'm starting to getting a little bit jealous of you to be able to visit these venues personally. And also on the last note, I think you're also a hardcore sports fan yourself, and you ran a podcast talking specifically about sports athletes and maybe anecdotes related to them. Can you introduce us to your podcast and where to find you guys?
Yes, we actually run a sports dedicated podcast called Sideline Story. Most recently, we focus on the Winter Olympic action and everything that is going on inside the Beijing Games. And if you are interested in the stories of the Winter Olympics and or if you are generally a sports fan, don't hesitate to find us on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you can find podcasts. And remember, you can find us by searching Sideline Story.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
Remember to search for Sideline Stories on any podcast platforms that you are familiar with. Thank you, Yang Guang,
We
for
wish you
today.
have a good time
Stay
today.
warm.
Hey, thanks.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah.
So that's our reporters from the closed loop management.
I think he's in the forest park, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I think it's the Olympic Forest Park, which is also a game venue during the 2008 Beijing Olympic Winter Games. So today we talked a lot about winter sports, about elements during the Winter Games. So
We're going to touch upon two very important Chinese characters related to the Olympic Games.
Yes.
Winter Olympic Games, the two very important Chinese
The
characters.
star of the winter sports, which is
I have Bing,
I have 雪
Bing for ice.
雪 for snow.
So it's, as we know, Chinese characters are a group of block-like symbols
Yeah.
from the images of some objects to the involved characters. So I think it's very easy to tell. Two dots, and on this part is 水, which means water. So two dots of water. So when the temperature comes to a certain degree, the water becomes ice.
And I also think the two dots components also means cold and icy. You can find it in many characters meaning icy and cold as well in Chinese. And for me, for the snow part, you can actually, it composes from a upper component and a lower component. So the upper components means rain, yu, and the lower component means sao, broom. So you can tell from this character, 雪 means during their rainfall, some kind of rainfalls, and you need to swept away with a broom. It's 雪, snow.
It's a very vivid picture.
Yes, it is. That's the fun of learning Chinese and the Chinese characters. So,
And also Bing relates to Bing Duan Duan,
and 雪融融.
the two ambassadors for the Beijing Olympics and Paralympics.
Yes, they are. And also, 冰, 雪, ice, and snow are the stars of this Winter Olympic Games. So we've talked a lot today about the fun of 冰 and 雪, of ice and snow today.
And some Chinese elements spotted on the Olympic venues.
Yes, they are. And so I think that's also wraps up our live streams today. And thank you for watching with us and traveling on this fast-moving, high-speed train between Beijing and Zhangjiakou in this studio covered by 5G network.
And you can always log on to our website, radio.cgtn.com, for more information on the Winter Olympic Games.
And you can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, or any social media platforms. But before you go, just don't shut us down. We also prepared a little preview for you for the games today. What's going to happen today? What more intense competitions you look for? And more importantly, are there going to be more medals for your countries? Take a look.
Looking ahead on Wednesday, February the 16th, 8 gold medals will be up for grabs. First, at 9:30 a.m., freestyle skiing men's slopestyle final will be held at the Genting Stowe Park. And then, in the afternoon at 13:45, Yancheng National Alpine Skiing Center will see the gold medal delivered in men's slalom. And 2 hours later, at 15:45, biathlon women's 4x6 kilometer relay will be held in the Zhangjiakou National Biathlon Center. And 5 more golds will be produced in the evening. First, 2 golds will be offered in cross-country skiing women's and men's team sprint final. Then, Jia Zongyang and his teammate Qi Guangpu will also try to do their best, and they took silver in mixed aerials last time, and they now will try to compete again in men's aerials final. Last but not least, short track speed skating will wrap up its competition with women's 1,500 meters and men's 5,000 meters final in Capital Indoor Stadium.